Hi everyone. I want to spend a few minutes to talk about the proposal and how this fits in with a larger picture, as well as talk about the formatting and what we kind of need for right now. Most of you are well on your way, researching, writing, kind of getting everything together. So I thought I'd hit some of the finer points. So, as I mentioned before, and it's written elsewhere, I want you to use the model in the book for the proposal, the progress report, and the recommendation report, the feasibility study. Using the model means you're not reinventing the wheel. And if you use this as a guide, it will help ensure that you have all the pieces and parts that you want. Now, when you go into a company, you would go through previous documents to make sure that you're following the culture of the company and how they want things. So this is a step in doing that and using it as a model. So you'll notice that we have the typical memo heading that we've been working on all semester long, followed by working with headers. You'll notice that there's also a lot of repetition in these documents. And that's because readers are radars for information. So they're going to different sections to look for different things. So you'll notice that the summary is the summary of the proposal as a whole. And it starts with, on this date, you received a request to do this study. So you would do something similar, like, Instructor Caldwell, right, asked us to do this or invited us to do this, right? You're pointing out the problem and some of the background information, and you're talking about what you're proposing and a general timeline that you're expecting it to take this long if this should be completed. So now when you come down to the introduction, you see that we have some repetition. The first paragraph of the introduction is pretty much the first paragraph of the summary. So we're going to keep seeing these things over and over again. Right, so you go further into depth into the problem, into the issues, into the driving questions that you have that you're going to be working towards. You're setting up some of that criteria, right, of letting us know if something would be feasible or not. Pardon me. So we're going through each step of the issue, the problem, looking at it. When we get down to the proposed tasks, what we're doing is we're looking at what you're going to do and why. So it's kind of your in-depth research plan here. And it's not what you found, but it's what you're going to do and why you're going to do it. So here we have task 1, acquire a basic understanding of clickers. They're talking about why they're going to do this, what maybe they're hoping to find. We have task 2, research faculty attitudes, right? So we're kind of coming through with each of these. Now, when we get down to the schedule, you'll notice that task 1 coordinates with task 1 under proposed task. Task 2 coordinates, right? So we're following the same kind of pattern. And then we have our dates of completion. You're again going to have that experience section and some references because at this point you will have some research done. So we can look and kind of start to see some of these elements that are here. Now, as I said, that this is one part, the very first part of a much larger project. So going from here, let's take a look real quick at the progress report. The progress report is going to be in 2 weeks, and it is basically a check-in of where you're at. This will let me know if you're ready to really start writing the feasibility study. So as we're looking at this, you'll notice again, there's a lot of the same information that's repeated, some of it taken directly from the proposal. And then what you're doing is you're updating the proposal, right? You're adding in the research, you're changing some things around. We now have completed tasks. Task 1 from the proposal is the same task 1 in the progress report. It's now what you did and what you found, right? Task 2, it's the same, what you did and now what you found. And we keep going through, and you still may have some proposed work to do. It could be stuff that you just haven't gotten to yet. It could be stuff that you've added to the list that you now need to do. You found out you needed to research this, interview that person, whatever it is. And then an updated schedule. Now you're working towards your conclusion, right? And we'll get more into this later, but I want to show you how these things build off of each other. When we get to the feasibility report, you'll see the same thing. You'll see a lot of repetition from these other projects. So if you think about each one as sort of a rough draft working towards your final project, it'll really help start to solidify your ideas and make sense of why you're doing these pieces and parts. In addition, the more you do now, the more feedback I can give you, the better you can make your drafts and your final project, the less you actually have to do later. The less you do now, the less feedback I can give you, the chances of a maybe lesser quality report are possible. In addition to, the more you're going to have to do later. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want you to put forth that effort now, so as it comes closer to finals week, you actually have a little more flexibility in your schedule. So jumping back now to our proposal, these are due Monday by 10 p.m. So make sure that one person in your group is the submitter. Again, follow the example here. Use this as your model, kind of going through, making sure that you've kind of tasked off, right, all these little steps that they have here. And I look forward to seeing your projects. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And in the meantime, I hope you all are enjoying the sunshine wherever you're at and that you have a wonderful weekend.